So you want to create some crepuscular rays. It comes from the Latin crepusculum, crepusculum if I pronounce it right, and it means twilight. And some people call it God rays. When I talk about light rays, the first thing that might pop up in your head, I have a pop-up blocker here. The first thing that might pop up in your head is this tool here, the rays tool. And for those of you who don't know, I know most of you know the rays tool, but there are some people who might not know the rays tool. So for those of you who don't know the rays tool, let me give you a brief explanation, very, very simple explanation. So the rays tool basically takes the bright values of your image, the bright areas, and it extrudes it away from the center point. The center point is this red cross-like thing here. And you see that if I move this around, you can see that the lights originate, or the rays originate from this point. So, but you might already see the disadvantage of this, because it originates from this point, you will probably not be lucky using this rays tool on a cylindric shape where you want light rays to emit perpendicular from this, from the surface. For that, you will need a different method, which I'm going to show you in the next episode. Yeah, so, but for this episode, let's stick to the spherical subject. Okay, so I have this star ball. For some reason, my Fusion is lagging like crazy. The only thing I did was turning down my fans, and now it lags like crazy. That's so fantastic. I'm so unlucky with hardware recently. It's crazy. Okay, so if we take a look for a moment, don't you think that this looks a little bit artificial or not believable? I mean, I'm asking myself, why do we actually see those light rays? If we think about it for a moment, wait a second. Is light not invisible unless it hits something or interacts with something? Yeah, I think it is. I don't need to be a physicist for that. Yeah, so light is actually not visible unless it hits something, matter. Now, particles are also matter. So if you are in your room and you have a lot of dust, like I do, then the sunlight will illuminate those little particles, dust particles. You can see them look like really beautiful. And now, basically, I think that's the same thing that happens with light rays. The light hits particles. Now, in the case of these light rays, we have a huge amount of particles. We have very dense particles in the air. So we cannot see the individual particles. A good example are clouds. Now, if you see clouds from the distance, they look like really nice, puffy and delicious. You want to eat them. But as soon as you fly through, all you get is like a smudge, So that's because from the distance, the space between the particles is just everything looks compressed, so you won't see through. And basically that's the same with volume rays. And if I look at this now, I just don't get why there are light rays. There shouldn't be light rays because the background is clean. The air around this ball just feels clean. Don't you agree? You agree, right? So, in order to make this a little bit more believable, now we won't win an award with this, but we can give it a hint to make it look at least a little bit more believable. Okay, and to do that, we can do something very simple. I took a hotspot, something like this here, and I combined it with a noise to, yeah, just cheesy noise to make it a little bit smoky. And I'm going to turn this off for a second. There's a surprise for you. And if we use now and compare, I mean, what I did now is like the most simple thing you can do, and yet it improved a lot, actually. I mean, if you compare, if you look at the left image now, all of a sudden it feels like something is missing, right? Yeah, I know. But we can bring this further. And let me show you the raise tool one more time. Now you can see here, this raise tool actually will be is applied on the original image, while this one shows only the raise. This is because I unchecked merge over, and by doing so, you become more flexible, more efficient, because you can now do all kinds of things with this. So I rotulated it. I expanded it, and then I put it into a mask and I softened this a little bit out. And with that mask, I use it to brighten up the halo or the smoke around the star ball. Now this is sort of like secondary rays. And if I put this together now, zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to switch this off for a second. Okay, you can see we get some sort of secondary light rays here. Now I can enhance your stuff here. And now what I want to show with this is that you shouldn't just slap on a tool and then just, you know, accept it as it is. You can just experiment. You can do many things with those things You can do many things with those tools to create more unique stuff. Okay. And after that, what I did is, this doesn't really matter now, but what I did is the chromatic aberration tool here. And you can see now, let's compare this one more time. This is the slap on, and this is the final one. Maybe a little bit too much glow here. Okay, but you can see now that on the right side, it just looks more complete, while on the left, something is missing. Now, you might be asking, hey Vito, okay, I see, but where are my damn VFX tutorials? Okay, I say it one more time, this time in a video. I will give you the VFX tutorials, CG integration, all this stuff. There's a limit to things that can be done as a tutorial because it's just so complex. The most important thing to understand is that all those tools that I'm showing you is what you will need later on. It doesn't matter if you do VFX, motion graphics, whatever. These tools you will need, okay? And I think with these short tutorials, it is very good for you or for a beginner to get an understanding of those tools, to get a feel of what you can do with all those tools. It will come in handy, more than that. It is essential because, seriously, these are the tools that you will need. I'm using those tools all the time. There are no other tools, unless it's a custom tool that the technical or artist made or something. But usually this is your toolbox. Okay, and to give you a small demonstration, recently I posted this bad boy here. Now that's very quickly done here within an hour, even including the camera tracking, which unfortunately failed. But if we take a look one more time at this was done with the very same tools. Now there's some additional stuff like the light hitting the wood planks, panels, what is called, I don't know. That's some extra stuff, which I will show in this CG integration tutorial. And but everything else is just what I have shown you in this comp here. It's exactly the same. Now, you saw that it was animated, it was rotating. Was moving, jiggling around. And I want to show you here, this is actually also jiggling. I turn off high quality and activate proxy modes to speed things up here. Okay, let's get rid of this one and put this one here. So you can see that the light rays are actually moving according to the star ball. And you might ask yourself, how is that possible? It's like magic. It's actually not magic. It's very simple. So let me give you a very quick explanation. So I go back to the 3D scene. You can see here we have the 3D ball. And let's go here. Okay. And now, do you see this locator 3D here? That is the magician. Now, to explain how this works. Now we have the sphere ball, the star ball, and it has a center point, right? So, and it's animated. Okay. Here on the right side, we have the race tool. And the race tool, you can see, also has a center point. Now, in Fusion, you can transfer the 3D coordinates, the XY, the Z doesn't work. The XY coordinates of the 3D workspace, you can transfer to the 2D workspace, to the XY of the 2D workspace. And the way you do that is using a locator, because the locator automatically is exposed. Where is it exposed? Let me show you. Once you create a locator, let me detach this. You see now the rays moved because the center point became undetached or unlinked. So if we should take a look at the, let me redo that. Let me redo that. It's late here in Japan, okay? Let me redo that. Okay, so if I take this and I alt release on the locator, you can see we have the scene input and the target. Now, the locator 3D is a little bit confusing if you never used it, because you would expect that you have to link this maybe in here and then maybe like this. That doesn't work. So the way it works is you take the ball, in our case the ball, which is the target. We want to extract those coordinates, and we hook this into the target. Then we take the scene, this should be in here. We take the scene with the camera and the target, and we hook it into the scene input, and that's it. Now the locator is always, there's no exception I think, exposed here, right click, connect to locator 3D. Light went off. Position. Okay, and bang, linked. Now this one should be automatic linked because I linked it before, and that is how you transfer your 3D coordinates into the 2D workspace. And you can do this with the lens flares, for example. The lens flare has a center point. You can do this with, here, let me show you. Here, hotspot. It also has a primary center, also linked. Then we have the chroma fuse. Now here I didn't link the center because the center is sort of like the direction of the chromatic aberration. So here in this case, I had to link the pivot point. That's the center. And another example, ellipse mask. Ellipse mask the same. Ellipse mask the same. Damn, what is going on today? Ellipse mask is the same. Center point linked to the locator coordinates, and everything is moving just with the ball. That is a very beautiful feature. Very beautiful. Okay, to finish this episode off, I want to show you like a happy accident. Now this locator 3D thing doesn't work if you use, for example, the overscan, because then the domain changes and the XY coordinates, they don't work anymore. I mean, they work, but they get offsetted. And I can show you. So I put this to 2, so we get an overscan. And you already saw that the light rays, oh, come on. the light rays, they start now, sort of get like a delay. Yeah. And it could be something that you like. I don't know. Maybe you like it. I mean, it's cool, right? I mean, could be useful. No? Okay. Sorry. Anyway, so in the next episode, I want to talk about using the raise tool with a 3D text. 3D text with a spotlight in the back, maybe a floor. And let's see how we can use it with a 3D text, if we can use it. And then we continue, and I bring you to the real stuff. I mean, it's gonna be real hot. My name is Vito. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, enjoy your volume raise. God bless you. Crepuscular race.